So let's get started. Researching colleges. This is important. Making a realistic and an ambitious or well-balanced college list is critical to success. Okay? And the first message I have for you on that front is this. And this is how most people you know are going to select their colleges. Okay? A smart kid from my school went there last year. Surely it must be a good college. All right? We've heard of it. You know, I look up to that kid. I think I deserve to go to a college like that as well. Okay? Everyone's guilty of thinking like that. Oh, that college ranks really well on US news. You know, we did a Google search and we looked at some rankings and that college was really good, so it must be good. True, I think partially true, but is it good for you? That's the big question. Is it right for you? Do you know how rankings are made? Are rankings truly a reflection of that college's fit with you as an individual? Those are big questions and important questions that you should be thinking about. Remember, this is not some kind of a trophy, all right? Oh, we went to this college, you know, we're so proud of it. Yeah, sure, but at the end of the day, why does that college exist? It exists to educate you holistically, to make you a functioning citizen of society, to develop you as an individual, to get you career ready. Those are more important questions. And I think you should approach selecting your college from that perspective. We know somebody who went there. Our cousin, our neighbor's friend, neighbor's cousin, somebody went there. Oh, it's a good college. Alternatively, you know, sometimes you might come up with a college name and then you don't know anybody who's gone there and you think very lowly of that particular college. So be wary of that style of thinking. Most people, in my experience, have heard of colleges which have been popular with graduate students from India going there. So these are your larger research-oriented universities, or they have heard of colleges that have top B schools. And feel free to test that theory of mine by making a list of 10 or 15 colleges that you've heard of. And very frequently you'll realize, okay, it's either because, you know, I think highly of that college because of A, there was an MBA program, and B, because a lot of graduate school students went there, okay? And the last one I hear so frequently is, oh, the acceptance rate is low, it must be good. And then frequently I see kids so surprised when they see acceptance rate for a college and it's very low, but they've never heard of it and they're very curious, oh, this must be a good college? Well, actually there's complicated reasons why acceptance rates might be high or low. Colleges like UIUC and Purdue and Georgia Tech, University of California might have very high acceptance rate, but then you've got to look carefully and dissect that acceptance rate across the different majors and the different departments, as well as across students from that state versus the US versus international. So I think these styles of thinking don't serve us very well, or as well as they should. Honestly, I think we should do college thinking more thoroughly and with better focus. So experts like us do thorough college research. All right? And that's going to help you find a college that is a good fit for you as an individual. And not just, oh, the college is great, but for you as a person. Okay? It will help you develop a solid plan for college. So this is a very important question. You know, oh, I want to go to NYU. Okay, so what will you do when you get there? Oh, I don't know about that. But you're making such a big decision of your life, you know, and you're going to be called an NYU alumni for the rest of your life. Is it really the right college for you? Are you going to thrive the most over there? Is it going to connect you with the best of opportunities? I don't know about that, but I want to go to NYU. I hear that so frequently. A good college research is supposed to land you in a territory where you have a plan and you know, okay, I'm going to this college if I get in, and if I go there, these are the 15, 20 things I hope to do, aspire to do. A good college research is going to help you write college specific essays, right? Again, coming back to that NYU, because it's so popular, you know, I mean, 9 out of 10 kids will come and tell me I want to go to NYU without knowing anything about it. It's NYU is going to ask you to write an essay, which is why NYU, 400 words. Okay. And if you're going to tell them about themselves, that I want to be in Manhattan, or I want to come to NYU because you have a wonderful business school, or you have a fantastic theater program, or something. You're not telling them about yourself. You're just telling them about themselves. Might as well write the brochure for them. So it's very important to do your college specific research from your vantage point and be able to explain to a college why they are such a good fit for the person you are, the person you aspire to become, and how you're going to make the most of the opportunities that they are going to provide to you as an undergraduate student. That is the secret to all of this. Some of you might have heard me talk about demonstrate interest in the past. Good college research is supposed to help you demonstrate your interest to colleges that you're very keen to come to this college. Guess what? This is an important criteria above and beyond your grades and great essays and profiles, recommendation letters. Colleges now are using very sophisticated IT tools to track students and how they demonstrate their interests. And you will be even surprised that absolutely top tier institutions and the most selective of colleges do this, because if someone is a great, outstanding, ambitious student and they're going to get into Yale, the likelihood that that person is also going to get into Brown or Columbia or Princeton is also very high. Yale then needs to know, if we accept the student, is she or he going to come to Yale? So they see, things like, have you visited our website? Have you registered with us for anything? We came to your school. Did you sign up for that info session? Come and talk to us. Did you sign up for anything online that we were doing? We sent you an email. How quickly did you click? It's freaky, but they have the technology to do all of these things and actually track you. And they're measuring it. And this is a very critical component of getting in. And I have seen the difference between two extraordinary students who both deserve to get into a college, but then one of them did not do the demonstrated interest piece and did everything else. That person worked hard. They got their grades, they wrote their essays, they worked on their profile, they differentiated themselves, they had done their college research, they interviewed really well. They just did not demonstrate their interest to the college. So good college research is going to help you demonstrate your interest in this college as you connect with their interview and with their admission officers, and you will know what to say there. And lastly, and very importantly, good college research is going to give you fodder for conversation when you have interviews with colleges. Okay, so let me pause here for a moment, okay, before I start my presentation. And if you have any questions, let me answer any questions at this stage, okay? If there are any housekeeping related questions or administrative questions or anything you're unsure about, if you could just put your hand up and I would be happy to answer anything that you want to know right now. Also gives me a chance to get a drink. Nothing? Okay. All right. Okay, no problem. So I will restart my presentation and we are going to talk about how to research. So there are review websites out there. And for the sake of today's presentation, I'm picking Georgia Tech as an example, Georgia Institute of Technology in Atlanta, Georgia. And apologies to everybody because today's presentation is slightly more US centric. But if you're following this format of college research for all non-US institutions as well, it's going to help you. But I'm going to be talking today from the perspective of Georgia Tech. So there are websites out there like Niche and US News and College Confidential. I think these are great starting points. One of the complaints I hear about college research is you get fatigue. You know, after a point of looking at college websites, they all start looking freakishly similar. And you're like, well, they all look the same. I don't know which one. They all look good. So I don't know which one is right for me. So I think that's where websites like this come in handy. So let's do a sample. Okay, I'm going to stop this screen and I'm going to go to the Georgia Tech page on niche. So if you haven't done it yet, I would suggest that you get an account on this website called niche. Okay, I hope you can see it now. So I just searched Georgia Tech here, and overall you can see, okay, overall a pretty good school, except maybe the food sucks, maybe the dorms suck. And these are reviews written by students and people who've been associated with Georgia Tech. Academics looks pretty good. Value for education looks good. Everything else checks out okay. I guess safety is something to just look into once. Campus doesn't look that great. It's a pretty big campus. I've been there. This is a basic introduction to Georgia Tech. And again, look at that. Acceptance rate is 22%, right? So, but I believe that's a general acceptance rate. I think it varies from major to major, and I think it varies from whether you're a Georgia resident versus a non-Georgia resident versus international. So that's where it's located. That's the website. You know, they are into Division I athletics. And this is a really good public institution in the US, right? And it's a great value college. It's very good for computer science. Okay. There are other rankings of where Georgia Tech shows up. Maybe worth checking out. Okay. Acceptance rate, the SAT range. So this is the middle 50%, right? So imagine if 100 people are admitted to Georgia Tech. This is the middle 50 percentile. So outside of this, there are still people who got 21 out of 4 kids who got lower than 1390, and 1 out of 4 kids who got higher than 1540. So isn't that phenomenal? That 1 out of 4 kids is 1540 and above at Georgia Tech, and that tells you a lot. And then this is the middle, the belly of the beast, and that's the ACT score. Okay, so application is this, SAT, ACT required, although let's see what they do for this fall. Typically, kids who apply to Georgia Tech also apply to colleges like this. Okay, now definitely I haven't had a kid who applied to Mercer, you know, while applying to Georgia Tech, but yes, I can see that in the past, students who applied to Georgia Tech checked out Caltech, MIT, RPI, Carnegie, Virginia Tech. Definitely, you know, Emory is slightly rare. I think that shows up probably because of the local population, because Georgia Tech and Emory are 2 of the larger institutions, educational institutions in the city of Atlanta. So they have an early action, early decision. Georgia Tech has an early action. It's interesting. Georgia Tech early action deadline typically is October 15th, which is before most other early action programs. So what are some of the top majors? A graduating class at Georgia Tech, the number 1 major was information sciences. About 600 students graduated with information sciences. Then there was mechanical engineering. Then there was business. Curious, right? We always think of this as a very techie place, but business is number 3. Then, of course, you have more engineering. So, of course, put together, engineering is probably number 1, IT is number 2, and business is number 3. But then when you segregate into specific majors, computer science comes right at the top. Okay, so that's very useful information. You know, if you're looking at chemical engineering, for example, yeah, Georgia Tech is one of the top colleges you should be looking at, or even biomedical engineering. You know, so total number of students on the Georgia Tech campus, about 14,000. So you need to divide that by about 4.2 to get a sense for how many kids are coming into Georgia Tech every year. So this is a fairly big school, right? 14,000 undergraduates. It's a big campus. Typical words associated with the school. This: work hard, play hard. Either work hard, play hard, or sleep a lot. One size does not fit all. Okay. Then things that describe the school, challenging, right? 60% of the kids said it's hard. Okay, so this is an important message. I always talk to my grade 12 students when they're leaving for college about, okay, now the shit's getting real, and so far you were like, wow, I want to go to this great college and I'm so happy I got into this great college. Are you ready now? Because you're actually going to walk into that class with other absolutely A-star students from around the world, and you're not just going to be sitting in a mixed group. You're going to be sitting in a class with all A-star students, and it's going to be tough. Many of the school toppers, very bright students, um, they sort of think that they are so much above everybody else. And again, I'm going to make a blanket statement, right? So not true for everybody, but I see that very frequently, that, there's a sort of a nice ego massage if you're right at the top of the curve, that I'm great, I'm smart. But then that ego gets destroyed the moment you go to a place like Georgia Tech, because it's hard, it's prestigious, it's stressful. Look at that. So this is an academically difficult environment, and that's the first thing you should know about it, So if you want to go to Georgia Tech and you get into Georgia Tech, great, but be ready for stress and to be challenged, but it will be rewarding. Okay. Now we look at some reviews. I always find this to be the best part of niche, because you can read what people and students who are going there have written now. Overall, if you see the profile, it's very much top heavy, excellent, very good, average, and hardly anybody has given it like terrible or poor reviews. So being me, I'm going to first check out what are the bad things that people are saying. So let's look at that. Okay. Their communication is awful. It takes them forever to respond to communication attempts, and when they do respond, they do not answer your question. Processes are unnecessarily difficult, with little or no help in encountering issues. So I'm not so surprised. It's a public college. I went to a public college. I know what they're like. It takes them time to respond to things. They tend to be a little bureaucratic. So another person here gave it 1 star and said, I like the diversity, but hated the academic environment. Georgia Tech was one of the most toxic environments I've ever experienced, and I was born in Detroit. People shouldn't have competitions over who is suffering the most or whose mental health is the worst. I can't wait until I leave this hellhole. My God, this is somebody who's very unhappy. So you can read all the reviews that were written, and then please make sure that you read all. So for every bad review, look at the ratio, right? For every one bad, terrible review, there's like 15x, 10 to 15x great reviews. So check those out as well, right? This person says, Georgia Tech is a great school filled with great people. The academics are top 3 in the nation for public universities with similar rankings among all universities in the fields of computer science and engineering. With the cost of attendance as low as it is, there's no reason not to go to Georgia Tech, right? So important point, the quality of education to the cost of education is very good here. If you're thinking of computer science and engineering, this is a great school, all right? And it's filled with great people. So those are my takeaways from this, all right? Personally, I like Niche better than US News, but I invite all of you to check both of them out and see which one you're more impressed by. US News is usually considered to be one of the best ranking websites in the world. And I think that's a great place to start for the ranking. But I think as you dig deeper and want to know specific things about the school, Niche does a better job. But again, that's my personal bias, and I invite you to check both of them out. A third website is something called College Confidential. And again, you'll have to create an account. I'm sorry, I'm not logged in right now, but you can see there are lots of discussions going on around the word Georgia Tech. I just searched for Georgia Tech, and then you'll find lots and lots of specific discussions and students, parents posting their questions, their inquiries. I think I always find this to be a very useful website as well, all right? So check all 3 of these out. You want to check out niche.com, you want to check out usnews.com, and you want to check out collegeconfidential.com. And please get an account on all 3, right? All right, so let me close that, and that, and jump back to my presentation. Okay, here we go. So number one resource, as you're checking out colleges, you can first go to the review websites to get a third party opinion. All right, not your opinion, not the school's opinion, opinion of other people who went there and reviewing websites. The second thing after doing that you want to do is you want to go to the college website, right? You want to go to the Georgia Tech website, and I'm going to jump here to Georgia Tech's website. Which looks like this. We are surrounded by COVID-19. They're working out problems of Apollo 13. They've kept some promise. Here's information about their majors and degrees. Here's information for prospective students, which is you. Here's information about admissions. This is something about alumni association, government relations, research. All right. These are the upcoming things which are happening. Everything is shifting online, obviously. These are the big news that are coming out of Georgia Tech. So, they're making do-it-yourself face masks and low-cost ventilators as expected from great engineers of Georgia Tech. And then obviously you want to check out like different aspects of the website, right? You want to check out their general about us. You want to check out things about their leadership. I always like to check out things about their vision and ethics, and really try and get a sense of the values that are important to this college and where they see themselves adding value to the world and the direction in which their college is going. Then I like to check out, academics. How is it structured? What are the different schools here? What are the different majors being offered here? You will always find a lot of interesting majors, maybe things that you haven't had a chance to think about in the past, or that school in particular offers it. For example, those of you who are considering computer science, you should be then also thinking about, well, how does my love for computer science then connect me with things like artificial intelligence and machine learning on one side, and cyber security on the other side, and robotics and Internet of Things on the other side, and data science on one side. So how does that play out at Georgia Tech as I go and then I graduate on from my fundamentals of computer science to specializing in something that's hot. You also want to check out things about, obviously, admissions. What does it cost? What is their process? Important dates, any scholarships that they have. This looks cool. Digital swag. I haven't seen that on other websites. You care as students about what it's like to be a student there. Outside of studies, what else are you going to do? What's life like on campus? What are some of the main buildings and what's going on? What do people here do when they're not in class and what they're not studying? You want to check out athletics. You'll be surprised to know how big Georgia Tech is on athletics. Research, obviously, typically tends to be the reason why people go to Georgia Tech, so you want to check all of that out. Look at the importance that they're giving to innovation and entrepreneurship. So look at the research, look at the main areas that Georgia Tech wants to focus on, news on research that is coming out from there, and probably you'll be able to sign up for some kind of a news update, if you put your email down, and that would count as demonstrated interest because you will register in their system. Now, make sure that your email ID that you're using on the Common App and that you're putting in the Common App and that you're signing up with is the same, okay? So that's how you check out a college. Another thing that you might want to do is you might then want to go into the department, right? So I want to go to the College of Computing at Georgia Tech once I've seen the bigger picture, and then see what's going on over there in terms of, hey, what kind of bachelor programs do they have? What minors are they offering? Okay, what's all this about international study and college advising, distance learning? Okay, now even within CS, what is this? What is the difference between CS and interactive computing and computational sciences? Okay, what's the computing community like at Georgia Tech, right? What is TAs? Are they like tuition teachers? What do you mean by community outreach? Are techie people helping out with local problems in Atlanta? You want to check out the research areas and any research programs, undergraduate research programs that are happening. This, by the way, is one of the very famous professors. And you want to also check out cool professors like that you might be able to talk about during your interview or in your essays, and that you might want to do undergraduate research with. you obviously want to check out, although I don't see it here, the classes that they are offering, okay? Within the School of Computing. You want to check out how the academics is structured. So what kind of core classes are required or not required at this college for you to take in the first year, second year. Obviously, you can sign up for the news archives, news articles, etc., etc. You'll get a sense for what's happening on this college typically and who's coming to speak. Although, again, now is not a typical time of the year for any of the colleges, but you might want to check that out. You might want to check their archives out. Look at the faculty, who's teaching there. Hall of Fame, famous people went there, famous entrepreneurs went there. Check all of that out. Okay, great. They're going to connect you with internships and jobs. How are they going to do that? Okay, so you want to spend time on this website in particular the moment you have a good sense of broadly what major you're going to do. And you'll realize that it varies from college to college. Checking out computer science at Georgia Tech is going to be different from checking out computer science at Carnegie, for example. Okay? Or it's going to be different from checking out computer science at a liberal arts college like Grinnell. So this is the reason why you need to spend time researching individual colleges. Now, please bear in mind, be realistic with your college lists, right? All of this is very time intensive, energy intensive. So you don't want to just research all your ambitious colleges. I think with majority of you, I have sat down, I've sort of shrunk your very long list of 20, 30 colleges down to something like 15 to 20 colleges. And then, you need to start doing research on all of these colleges, okay? So you go to the college website, you go to the department website, YouTube. I love YouTube because it's really useful. And, there are some excellent videos which are put out there either by Georgia Tech itself or by students. You can find interesting videos about, what's academics like or what's my typical day like. And there are videos about like, how I got into Georgia Tech and, what I wrote about in my application. Always good to see, not good to replicate word to word. There are some quirky videos, interesting happenings at Georgia Tech. This one is a particular favorite of mine about how this kid at the freshman convocation gave this very interesting speech. There are videos put out there by admissions. So YouTube is always very easy to just casually browse around and look at. You just put Georgia Tech or Georgia Tech Computer Science or Georgia Tech Fun, just social life at Georgia Tech. You'll find interesting videos out there. Typical day in the life of a Georgia Tech kid, So this is another great resource. I also like this website, continuing on from you're looking at YouTube. It's called Campus Reel. And Campus Reel is a student-populated website. So it's video central. There are lots of videos on pretty much every aspect of that particular college. So you can go in here, you can go into Georgia Tech, and then you can see videos uploaded by students at Georgia Tech on everything from my dorm is the best because of XYZ reason to the food in this cafeteria is really good to, okay, what do we do for fun in the late evening to, I recently did this undergraduate project or did this study abroad opportunity, or we had a great lecture from some visiting famous person and they spoke about this. So anything and everything under the sun from students at that college. And that it's a great substitute for, short of being there as a student yourself. You can see it through the eyes of current students. So it's a great resource. Always, I ask students to follow the colleges on Instagram and the different things. And the more interested you are in that college, I would say this is another demonstrated interest piece. It shows them that you're following them. And I would say that you should follow the general page of Instagram or of Georgia Tech. You should follow the Instagram page of the computer science department if that's the major you're interested in. And obviously you can also follow the, hashtag Georgia Tech or whatever is the popular hashtag around that college. So I know all of you like to spend time on Instagram, so why not do some college research, okay? So that's another one. Edward Fisk is very famous in the US for writing a yearly review of colleges. He's got a team of people that visit colleges and interview admission officers. And every year they produce a book called The FISC Guide to Colleges. So if you get a chance, order this. We have copies of it from the past. We are happy to share the notes with you. I think we've already done that with some of the students. But again, this is a great third-party summarized perspective on a college. So check this out as well. The next one I want to tell you is you need to sign up for stuff. Okay, you need to go in there and fill a prospective student form. And that gives them information about you that, hi, I'm Neeraj, I'm in grade 11, I go to this school, I'm interested in this department or this major. I'm okay if you send me emails, I'm okay if you sign me up for future events, please let me know when you're coming to India, all of that kind of stuff. So absolutely must to do this because again, they are tracking this. You also might want to follow their blogs, and also as a prospective student, when you fill up this form, you start getting the latest and the hottest news from that admissions office. So you will be the first to hear when they make SAT optional, or you'll be the first to hear when they're coming to India, or you'll be the first to know when they release a new essay for next year, for example. So please browse their admissions department webpage. There will be lots of places for you to sign up in, and if this is a college that you're really interested in, please sign up for all of this. Okay, and if some of you are very busy as students doing many things, parents, this is a great place for you to step in and do this. Okay, I know there are some parents watching today. This is a great activity for you to do. So the students can focus on receiving emails into their inbox, and you can go sign them up for stuff. Okay. Again, this will help you, but then it will also let the college know that, wow, this kid has signed up so early, 6 months, 7 months before the application deadline. Looks good for you. They're tracking how much you're clicking the things that they are sending you. Okay, so when you get stuff and they're able to see, we sent an email to that kid, and they never opened it. They never opened our emails, that maybe they're not that interested in us, versus, okay, we sent an email to this kid and within 15 minutes, even if it's 2 a.m. in the morning in India, they open it, so they're tracking all of that stuff. Please don't stay up so late. Of course, campus visit. There is no substitute for showing up in Atlanta, seeing the Georgia Tech campus for yourself, breathing the air, touching the buildings, talking to people, getting a sense for the vibe and the culture. That's the best thing ever. Not possible for everybody, and certainly not possible right now. So colleges are switching to doing what they're calling virtual info sessions, right? So typically, if you visited Georgia Tech and you signed up for an information session and a campus tour, and they're happy to host you, they're happy to talk about their college and who's a great fit, and take you around the campus and show you everything. But short of that, they're doing these virtual info sessions, kind of like this. And again, please sign up for them wherever they're happening. You can go to each college's website or just Google Georgia Tech virtual info session, and you'll find other opportunities. Somewhere that digital goodies must include one of these things. Okay. Having done all your fundamental research, I also think it's a good idea to talk to a student. Maybe friend of a friend, maybe a senior, maybe one of my ex-students. And talking to current students and alumni is a great, very useful insights can come from them. But again, be careful not to think of that as the ultimate truth about that college, right? Because again, that's that student's perspective. Okay, so the moment you talk to multiple students from multiple different backgrounds and different majors, then you'll get a real sense for that college. Because if you just talk to one kid and that kid says, oh, my college is really athletic, maybe that kid is athletic. Maybe the college isn't, right? So see how what they're telling you matches with all your other research. Do exactly what colleges do to you. They're going to look at your school grades and SAT and essays and see how they all match up. You should be doing the same when you're doing college research. Oh, I read about that on niche, that computer science and engineering is really big, and then I saw it on their website, the reviews and blah blah blah. And then this kid told me as well, that okay, CS is really big on their campus. Okay, yeah, everything is matching, right? So that's good. Confusion will start when you get mixed responses. That means that that thing is only partially true about that college. Okay, now The most important thing, as you're doing all of this research, it's very important to make notes. My most successful students, and I'm telling you, the most successful ones, they had a diary when they did this. Okay, they got specifically a diary for this. And I know so many of you tell me, oh, I'm going to make notes on my phone or on my computer. Trust me, do it in a diary. Okay, and dedicate a couple of pages to every single college that you're checking out, and start making bullet points one by one by one. So here are the things that you should be looking out for as you're doing all this research. Okay? Look out for cool professors. These are the people who are going to make the biggest difference in your life at college. Okay, a great professor can change your thinking. They can elevate you. They can help you come up with a great vision for yourself. They can open doors to interesting opportunities in research and internships. So check out what professors and what classes you want to take. Okay, and make a note of them, because again, great fodder for conversation and essays, right? Make a note of opportunities that you see on their campus and how you're liking the campus and the culture of the campus and the location of this college. Check it out, see how far it is from a big city, or if it's in the middle of a city. And if it's in the middle of a city, then what else is in the neighborhood, and how does that college integrate into the city, and what benefits does that provide you. Okay, check out the values and traditions and the priorities of that college, and see if they align with you as a person. Okay, then I think this one is very important. Many a times finally say, okay, great, Georgia Tech is perfect for me because techie and research, and I'm interested in computer science. Fantastic. Okay, but then that's going to be the reason at Washington, Seattle, and at UC Berkeley, and at Harvey Mudd, and so many other institutions which tick all those three boxes. Now, how is Georgia Tech in particular different from those institutions? How is Georgia Tech going to be different from Purdue and UIUC and Washington, Seattle, who I would say are so similar? You're going to have to find some interesting differences to write about in your essays, and that align with you, and talk about in your interviews. Okay. As you're researching, you also need to think and make note carefully on, would you like to apply their early action or early decision? Because early decision is a big commitment, because if you get your early decision, you have to go there, and it should be a happy result. It shouldn't be, oh shit, I got in. I could have also gotten into other great colleges, but now I don't know why I committed there early. That should not be the case. You should be happy going there. You should be happy that, this is looking at my profile, my background, my competitive strength. I think I did a good job of picking a realistic college that I would have fit into and I would have gotten into. So think carefully about that do you really want to do an early application there versus regular decision? Okay. I definitely want you to make a list of things that you loved about that institution, or things that you could envision yourself doing as you read or saw them on the internet. At Georgia Tech, I would love to take part in that community outreach efforts as a technology person, and see how how technology is making an impact on real life problems. For example, the moment I landed on Georgia Tech's website, I saw about ventilators and face masks. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I want to do, versus I don't care about any of that. I want to know, the secrets of the nucleus and particle physics. So what type of person you are and the opportunities at that college, is it really, really aligning with you? Make a note of those things. You're going to, again, talk about those in your essays as well as in the interview. How is Georgia Tech going to help me get a job, start a company, go to grad school? How is it going to progress me as an individual? Okay, what opportunities does it have that I'm going to engage with, which I can put in my resume in the next 4 years of college? Make a list of those things. Talk about them in your essays. Talk about them as reasons for why you want to go to Georgia Tech. Talk about those in the interview, and then put them on your to-do list for when you get to college. Okay, so trust me, college has way more opportunities than you can capture with your 2 hands and 2 legs. And you need to prioritize. What would you really do? And again, these would be great talking points if you're able to connect with a student or an alumni. Make them feel bad for not doing what you should be doing. Then, as you look at admissions, you will very frequently find them talking about, well, this is what we are looking for in an application. Make a note of that. Come and discuss that with me. There are some clear adjectives that they're looking for. For example, Georgia Tech is very much interested in a person who has gone beyond their school academics. Georgia Tech is very much interested in a person who uses technology for benefit of society. You know, so evident on their website from the first look. Georgia Tech is very interested in a person who knows how to deal with failure and experimental failures, because guess what? Whatever you do in undergraduate research, 99% of the times it's not going to work. So are you going to be the type of guy who has the loser attitude, or, oh, it doesn't work and I'm probably no good, or you're going to be the more objective guy and say, why did that not work and how can we fix it? So there are certain adjectives that you will pick up on as you read their blog, their admission page, as you attend their info session. And, this is very critical. Come and talk to me about this after you've done all the research. So very critical to get that notebook, okay, and make notes on all of these things as you're researching the college through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 places. All right? So I'm going to stop there. That is the end of my presentation.